with our own thing.
Hangout is live on air. So this is John and Paul on Monday morning, October 13th, 2014, Monday the 13th, not Friday the 13th. So don't worry about having bad luck, although to me, I feel like 13 is a lucky number. So, to each their own there. Um, Everything's lucky as far as I'm concerned. This is the Swiss Global Independent Business Owners Network Marketing Training number 46, okay? If you're new here, I invite you to stick around, listen to what we have to talk about, because well, we're going to get into a pretty interesting subject today, I think. I'm not sure. I missed the call this morning, what we normally do, so I'm going to just say, hey, good morning, John, and let you kind of kick this off here, and I'll redirect when I get a chance to.
Oh, that sounds great, Paul. Yeah, as Paul said, it's Monday the 13th, and I look at 13 as a lucky number. It's only things are only unlucky if you believe them to be so. So it's the start of a new week. I love Mondays. I know I say that every Monday, but if you're not excited to get out of bed on a Monday and start a brand new week and look at all the opportunities ahead of you and the time, although it moves very quickly, that's ahead of us this week with enthusiasm and energy and excitement, such as Paul and I do, then you might want to question what it is that you're doing every day if you can't get up on a Monday excited about your week. And if you're not, you need to start looking to define who you are and what it is that you should, not what you think you should be doing, but what it is you want to be doing. And it's unbelievable that it's already halfway through the month. It just, time is flying. It's the last quarter of the year, so as we say every Monday, the time to make your mark for 2014 is now. I guess with that being said, kind of prefaces what today's discussion is going to be all about. Obviously, Paul said, for those of you new here, stick around. I think you'll enjoy our content. And today, I think we're going to focus on taking action. Taking action on, for those of you that have been on board with Swiss Gold Global for the last year, well, almost a year now that we've been involved, 9 months to be exact, but and we're on the morning calls every morning with Jeff, and me and Paul are doing these hangouts Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Fridays. Paul will be here more often than me. I'm kind of an in and out kind of a guy, but it's time to take the knowledge that you have and apply it. One of the things that I'd like to kind of mention about knowledge is that just because you know something doesn't give you power whatsoever. We grow up hearing that concept. I know I've heard it a million times that knowledge is power. Well, I challenge that, because knowledge is not power. It's applying that knowledge, having specialized knowledge or the ability to access knowledge and take action on that. That is where the power lies. So with that concept in mind, before I carry us any further, I'm going to toss it back to Paul and let him kind of spew out the thoughts in his mind.
Okay, cool. That actually leads in pretty well. I think action is kind of along the lines of where I was kind of looking at this morning. Basically, what I wanted to get at was the fact that, I've made comment before about me, being here on these calls with, messed up hair and all that. And funny thing is I actually took time to comb my hair today. It probably looks worse than it did before I started.
It looks fantastic.
But because I get into a deep concept of thought, and this morning, same thing. I was writing down this concept that came through my head this morning, and I totally missed 7 o'clock. I didn't even hear the phone call this morning, which is not like me. I'm usually always there, but I was just so deep in my writing and my thought that I looked up and it was almost a little after 10 after already. I did get on and catch the last end of it, but let's see here. Oh, so yeah, so I was on this subject, and this is actually a real estate related subject, but it led me to a concept that really applies to everything here. So, I was kind of going along the lines of, how all the systems that, as we have known them, they're being manipulated to give us false perceptions that, nothing in this world has changed. I mean, 2008 signified, the crash of 2008 signified a major change in this country and in the world. And if you look back on history, there's been 4 times, this is being the 4th, that we've had a major crash, economic crash in this country, and each and every time it signified a major shift in the economic systems of our country. We went from the wild, wild west to the agricultural era, to the industrial era, to the consumerism era, to where we are now, which, what's the next era? Well, you know, I'll leave that up to you, but I say information and education. So what I'm saying is that, you know, we're getting all of this information about how, you know, go back to your old lives. Everything's the same. You know, invest your money the same way you used to. Do all the same things that you used to do. Don't worry about anything. We got your back. It's all covered. We're fixing it. You know what I mean? We keep hearing all this stuff, and yet the reality of it is it's all changing right in front of us, and we need to open our eyes to that. So it led me to this base thought, you know, that you know, the world is changing, and our, you know, your interest, our interest, you know, our best interest is not necessarily at the forefront of that change right now, okay? Because I mean, I was looking at it was just a forum post really this morning, and just a couple of comments that people were made, and it just got my mind to thinking, and I was looking at, because I know that there was changes made to a certain system within real estate at the beginning of this year through legislation, you know, manipulated by power and money through the government to make these changes, and how it's affecting the real estate market, and the comments that the common people were making that have no clue that these changes even took place. Because, as I said, it's not necessarily your best interest that's at the forefront of this change. So right now, more than ever, it's vitally important for you to really take stock of what you believe, and who you're listening to, and the information that you're obtaining, and where it's coming from, and, you know, the source, and is it worthy of you believing this information or not, or is it something that you need to qualify? Because, as I said, you know, it's not your best interest that's at the forefront at all times anymore. And, you know, we put these you know, and that all comes back around to the basis of why we do these hangouts here, which is basically, we're building for our Swiss Gold Global organization, we're building a training series throughout these hangouts, so that people that join our organization can come here and get inspiration and motivation each day to get out there and make it happen. And it's also why we invite the public to these, is we're just hoping that some of you folks might stumble across these, find these videos out there, and watch and get inspired to, you know, get your asses up off the couch and do something. So that's what we're all about. And like John said, take an action. Yeah, I'm talking to you guys who might be seeing something about this in the first time. We're all about Swiss Gold Global, which is an awesome organization, a great way to build income, to build your own net worth, to build passive income, and to gain a lot of good knowledge about what's real out there. So that's all I got to say about that. That's kind of where my concept was going this morning. That's why I missed the call, John. I don't know if that associated to the call or not, but you can wrap it in and tie the ends together.
Well, the funny thing is, the first question that I'm going to ask you is, are you sure you weren't on the phone call this morning? Because it wraps in exactly with what we were talking about.
Law of attraction, baby.
To the next level, where, you know, I mentioned that it's important to start taking action and applying the knowledge that you learn, because without application of the knowledge, you know, there is no power to that knowledge unless it's applied. And Paul brought up a great little history there, and entering into a new age where a major changes have happened in the last 6-7 years since the crash. And you have to be open to the change. changes that are occurring if you're going to be financially free or just have a successful life in general. And I want to mention that these calls that we're on are really about mindset. We do talk about business systems and creating and building upon your network marketing organization, but it really focuses down to mindset. And do you have a mindset that's willing and open to adapting to change and recognizing that the status quo, as Paul pointed out, doesn't always have your best interest at heart? And now more than ever, one of the actions that need to be taken in light of this information of change is that we have the power to control and direct our own mind, and that's an action we need to take. We need to begin controlling, directing our own mind, and taking action on the things we're learning. And, you know, think about how things were going in 07, 08, when it was, if you had a pulse and a home with equity, you could essentially walk into any bank, get a home equity line of credit. Credit card applications were abundant in the mail. I know at that time I was getting an application every day, a pre-approval just about every day from a credit card company. And at that time, a lot of internet businesses, a lot of self-development businesses that were based on people spending discretionary income, well, that was the thing at the time. That was a big thing, and it was, you know, a lot of people had it made. On the call, Jeff, this morning, Jeff talked about how CEO space he went to this weekend had, you know, back in those times, the boom time before the crash, people would show up to these these weekends in Vegas once every quarter, and there'd be a couple thousand people in the room. A guy like Harbecker with his peak potentials would do a event and have 3,000-4,000 people show up. You go to CEO Space now, or you go to an event like the Millionaire Mind Intensive, which is the Peak Potentials event that T. Harbecker created, which is a great event. They're lucky to get just a couple hundred people now in those rooms because things have changed. And the point is that you have to change because a lot of people had it made in 2007, 8, 9. And a lot of people have a mindset that once you've got it made, you've got it made. And you know what the truth is? That no, that's not true. Just because you have it made today doesn't mean you're going to have it made tomorrow. And if things are changing, which they are at a rapid rate, well, you have to be open to those changes. Focus on the obstacles. Focus on the opportunities, not the obstacles. And don't believe for a second that just because you have it made today that you're going to have it made tomorrow. I'm going to toss it back to Paul because I saw him taking some notes, and I'm sure that he has some ideas that he'd probably want to add to all this.
Well, quickly, I just want to say 2004, 5, and 6, not really 7, 8, and 9. 7, 8, and 9 was more of the crash downtime. But, yeah, exactly what you were talking about, how everything was going, everything was wonderful, everything was great, everything was going up in value, everybody was making money, nothing could ever go wrong, and then wham! The rug gets pulled out from under you, and, you know, the shit hits the fan, and everything starts collapsing, okay? Look at where we're at right now. Look at the, you know, like John was saying, all the credit card commercials and all of that. If think back and use your mind. You guys watch TV. I'm sure you watch TV all the time. If not TV, the commercials on the videos on YouTube now has commercials and everything else. But there was a period of time there between 2009 to 2011 where you hardly saw a mortgage loan commercial or a credit card commercial or, you know, any of those types of things. And if you're paying attention, you'll notice now these things are starting to flood the market again. They're wanting to give you, they're wanting to get you tied into owing money. They want you to get you back into debt. Everybody, you know, when it collapsed, you know, a lot of debt was given away. I mean, millions of bankruptcies happened. I mean, all this, a lot of stuff just went away. A lot of people out there have no debt. It's times past now to where a lot of those people from 2008, 2009, their records are clear and they can start becoming citizens again. And guess what? Hey, let's hammer them. Let's get them right back into debt. Let's get them right back where they were. So that's what we're talking about as far as making a change. Now, um, since, again, talking about the history of the 4 different eras, if you look back at the history, and it's going on right now too, more millionaires are made from the time of the crash throughout the first like 10 to 15 years of this transitional period, because this is when the biggest opportunities are available. Change equals opportunity, okay? And so right now there's so much opportunity around us, especially in our world today where everything is moving so fast. There's so much opportunity out there available right now. It's not coming down the road. Okay, the opportunity that's coming down the road, you know, once everything's back to normal and good again, is going to suck. The good opportunity is now. All right, this is where more millionaires will be made within the first 10 to 15 years. Millionaires and billionaires have already been made and will continue to be made within the first 10 to 15 years after 2008. Guarantee you that. From 10 to 15 years after that to the next 40-year, rest of the remainder of the 40-year cycle. Oh, by the way, and look at the sequence of that history I gave you. 40-year period, 40-year period, 40-year period, 38-year period. You figure it out. All right. So, why? It's just that just coincidence? I don't think so. So what John was saying about controlling and directing our own minds, we also have the ability right now to control and direct our own futures. And that is not by going back to the way everything was, not by looking to go out there and try to get the good job that's going to, you know, and I'm talking especially right now to the younger people, you know, say 40 and less, you know, getting the good job right now and thinking you're going to put in your 20, 30, 40 years to get to retirement and everything's going to be hunky-dory like we've all been taught throughout our whole lives to do. Look what just happened to the baby boomers, okay? They put in their 40 years. Everything was hunky-dory, man. They were headed right there. They were at the doorstep, looking right through the door going, oh, there it is, beautiful retirement world. I'm ready to walk through the door and enjoy the rest of my life, right? And then slam, right in your face. You don't think that's going to happen again? You're going to believe the good job is the way to get there? The only way you're going to get there is through owning your own business or your own business system, most specifically. And I got to get out of here. I'm ranting.
You know what, Paul? That leads kind of perfectly into just a quick topic that I think we should wrap up with, being that we're talking about taking action. But just because you take massive action doesn't mean you're getting anywhere. If you're in a car heading towards a cliff and you're driving at full speed ahead enthusiastically and you're in a great mood and you think everything's hunky-dory, you could still be heading over the edge of a cliff. So it's not just about taking massive action and taking action, which is key, but taking the right actions. So that starts with asking yourself a question. Do you want financial freedom in your life? Because let's be honest, that's what we're talking about here with mindset, and the reason Paul and I are in Swiss Gold Global, and the reason our upline recruited us, and the reason we're looking to recruit people into the downline that we have is because we're surrounding ourselves with, and we ourselves want to have financial freedom in our life. And there's only one way to do that, people, and that's by having passive income. Money that comes in while you're sleeping, that you're not going out and trading time for money, but that passive income means coming in without you having to work for it. And you need, you know, in my opinion, multiple streams of income. That's passive. Paul and I are working on another business together as well, and I have another business with 2 other business partners that I'm working on. And here's a couple of things that constitute streams of passive income. You know, you could write collateral. If you have money to lend, if you have money in the bank and you can lend it and do private loans, you can write what's called collateralized loans. You can loan your money out, have it collateralized with an asset like a car title loan or a piece of real estate and get 8 to 12%, maybe more on your money. You can own rental real estate. You know, you can sell insurance, because every time you sell an insurance policy, when someone renews, it's a residual income. You can build a business with the intent to sell it. This is very difficult. If you have money, you can invest in cash flow investments. But if you're starting from scratch with really no money, one of the biggest ways you can go out there and take actions every day that will build you a passive income is by joining, promoting, and working with a network marketing company. The cost of entry is very low, and the rewards are significant. And it has all the elements in this business, and I am talking about Swiss Gold Global, that are relevant to the changes that are happening in the world today. Because one of the things Paul mentioned in this new era we're in of information and education, well, that's what we're doing in this business. We're providing information and education. But beyond that, the world today in business, to be successful, is all about co-opetition, cooperating, joint ventures, partnerships, knowing and building your network. And that is one of the most cost-effective ways that anybody can get to building and working towards building their streams of passive income. I see we're right at 8:20. I would love to talk more about this, but I think we kind of ran out of time for the day. But just keep in mind, I'll toss this back to Paul, that taking the right actions, ones that you're doing every day, and ask yourself, am I taking actions that are leading to my financial freedom, which means you're building passive income. Network marketing is one of the ways that people with very little means available to them can jump into something that they can work at daily that will build them their nest egg, their passive investments. I'm going to toss it back to Paul to say his final thoughts and then close us out.
Just closely look at, if you're looking into network marketing, closely look at the difference between, there's a very, very close correlation between network marketing and direct sales marketing. And if, like you said, like John says, you're looking to build passive income, network marketing is by far superior to direct sales marketing in doing that and achieving that goal. So although a lot of direct sales marketing companies have an element of passive income building wrapped into them, it's generally not as strong, not nearly as strong as a pure network marketing outfit. So just keep that in mind when you're looking at any prospects, whether it be Swiss Gold Global or any other potential network marketing organizations that you might be interested in getting involved with. Just keep that in mind. And with that, we're out of here with the Napoleon Hill prayer, which goes, O universe, I ask not for more riches, but for more wisdom with which to make better use of the riches I was given at birth, consisting of the power to control and direct my own mind to whatever end I might desire. And with that, people, watch